Well, once again, folks, it's time for me to talk television on NASCAR. And let's be realistic here. There's nothing to do with the on-air talent when it comes to TNT. But behind the scenes people, on the other hand, yeah. That's where TNT's biggest struggle seems to be right now, to be honest. It's more or less the camera crew, directors and so forth, that are pushing the broadcast in a certain direction. And while they had a decent start with Atlanta, Chicago, hoop boy, not good. And right now, based on the two races so far, they're making Fox look better in comparison. Amazon still has a better broadcast overall between the three thus far, but if you take Amazon out of the picture, then yeah, it's back to 7-14 TNT all over again. And again, there's nothing against the on-air talent, because they got a good group there. Same trio in the booth with Amazon, plus Marty, Danielle, and Alan's done a good job in the pits, plus Shannon, Jamie, and Parker in the pre and post coverage. The on-air talent is not the problem. That's what I'm trying to say. But it's more or less those who was in charge of the direction of the coverage, the camera crew, so forth. That's where TNT's problems lie, to be honest. And they got 3 races left to try and at least improve on that, so that way, at the very least, they could be on par with Fox, or we're going to suffer for roughly the next few years. And we'll have to wait and see if TNT will come back once this deal ends or not. It's a shame because, like I said, the on-air talent is not the issue with TNT whatsoever. I know some may disagree with me on that. Depends if you like that person or not. But to me, TNT's problems has nothing to do with the on-air talent whatsoever. Same thing with Fox. For the most part, the on-air talent is not the issue. Except for Clint Boyer, of course. But don't get me wrong, I like Clint, but he's just not that good. But he just doesn't fit the booth to me. Now, if Larry McReynolds or Jimmy Murray was in the booth and put Boyer with Myers, then that would be different. Where it comes to the Fox side of things. But similar with Fox, TNT's problem thus far is the direction of the race and whatnot. Hopefully, with these meetings, everyone in charge at Turner Sports will get together and say, okay, we need to fix this, we need to fix that, because we've got 3 more tries left to get it done. And that's what the NCAA tournament so far. Well, we're 2 rounds in, going on round 3, and pretty much only 2 top 10 spots left. And to be honest, I like the idea of the possibility of an upset driver winning $1 million. But at the same time, I am disappointed that more or less the big guns got taken out at Atlanta. But I'm still going to keep an eye on it and see who actually does win $1 million. Because for a small team, let's say colleague or to an extent RFK, that $1 million could be the difference of whether they'll be more competitive in the future or not. And I will say this on SVG as well. When it comes to the next gen era, he's definitely risen up as being one of the best road racers of all time. Now, if he can improve, and he's starting to get a little better on the oval, so I will say probably when he does return to these tracks later this year, he'll probably be more competitive there. not going for wins or anything on the ovals yet, but I would be surprised if he ends up with a top 15 or a top 10 when he does return to some of these ovals later this year. But to me, I would say the biggest disappointment so far with TNT is basically taking the Fox approach when it comes to commercials. Just showing them wherever they want to. Which Chicago being the best example of this, but we decided to cut to commercial during the burnout. It's like what Fox did earlier this year with cutting to the commercial, they came back with less than 10 to go at Talladega earlier this year. I mean, I know the advertisers have to pay for the sport, but come on. Was it really necessary to do a commercial now? And Fox is getting to that too. Like I said with the earlier example at Talladega. But people insist that Fox has the best coverage overall despite their issues. But I will argue that Amazon has the best coverage right now. Do I want them to do the full season? I wouldn't go that far, but I do want them at least increase the coverage down the road. Maybe do the TNT portion of the season and some more of the Fox side of things. And at the very least, but I get it. Not everyone has access to streaming or cable. And you gotta make do what you gotta make do with the networks. Problem is that sports television on the networks is crowded. You got several different companies buying rights to broadcast the product on the networks. There just isn't room for one exclusive sports content on the networks. You gotta make room. So even if, for all intents and purposes, say Fox or NBC gets the entire season, how you go shoehorn the Cup, Xfinity, and Truck Series coverage to NBC and Fox, considering their other programming? Are you force those to move to USA and FS1, especially when it comes to the fall and the NFL and college football, and the Olympics when it comes to NBC on the even years? As much as I want to see NASCAR covered on all the networks, it's not as easy as you think. It's not like the early 2000s when NASCAR was the second most popular sport behind the NFL, and in theory you could put almost every cup race on the networks, because even back then you had some events that were exclusive to cable, whether that was FX or TNT. Sure, the majority of the races was on Fox or NBC during that time period, but again, not every race was on Fox or NBC. You had some that were exclusive to FX and some exclusive to TNT, or would rotate between the two networks. But to me, doing a network that could, in theory, cover the entire season, whether it's Trucks, Xfinity, and Cup, would be the CW. And I know not many people like the CW and whatnot, and I get it. But realistically, if NASCAR's going to have all the races on the network, CW would be the most likely scenario. Because let's face it, outside of college sports in the spring and the fall, they don't have any other sports programming per se that could interfere with NASCAR coverage. So at this point, the CW would be the most likely scenario if NASCAR does put everything on one network. We're seeing this right now with the Xfinity Series coverage. In fact, But that's about it for my little rant, folks. So let me know that down in the comments below. If you were in charge of not only NASCAR per se, or in charge of the sports division of the networks, how would you run things to put NASCAR on every single week on the networks? And bear in mind, you gotta be realistic. Remember, some programming has got to go. Force me move to cable. Where would it be? A golf tournament, a different motorsports event, an NFL game, a college game? Because here's the thing, I also want to end with this as well. Not everyone wakes up when the sun is rising and goes to sleep when the sun sets. There are people who work second or third shift, so you gotta put those people into consideration too when it comes to the scheduling side of things. And I don't know, I'm one of those people. And even though in my case, the only way I can see the broadcast per se is if I listen to it on my phone at work, at least in theory, I can still tune in and hear the race broadcast side of things, what's going on. Now, granted, a phone is not an ideal choice to watch the races by any means of the imagination, but at least it's something. But anyway, that's about it for my little rant. So let me know your thoughts down below. And I'll see all of you next time. Bye for now.